people will fear you just because. I mean, my son is 6'10". He's got a size 20 shoe. He's got locks. Nicest kid you'll ever want to meet. If you just see him walking down the street, and you really don't know much about black folk. You're probably going to be terrified of him. And so that is what it is.
Yeah, I've noticed that for my, my husband, and even, his family comes from a very tall, all very tall, dark skin. And it's like in my experience, it's like a lot of the men in the family are very, presentable, like very non-threatening. But I can just say something as simple as like the experiences that I've had with him versus not, and the conversations we have about that, like it is different. And it's so crazy because even as, obviously Black people in America, we have a certain experience that is shared. And yet there are so many experiences that I think just are not shared, that we'll never really fully understand as like a woman. And even as a woman that presents a certain way that may have particular phenotypes or may have particular features, like there's always going to be a way that I'm perceived differently than my husband or my father or different men in my family. And I think sometimes for certain women, it's hard to understand that because you can just look at the feminist ideology or look at the whole women's rights things and just assume that you're more oppressed than men automatically just by reason of deduction, and not really fully understanding the way the system specifically operates against men and why.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And a lot of that's intersectionality, really, as it was introduced by Kimberly Crenshaw in 1989. The idea was that Black women are, oppressed in terms of race, class, sex, and gender. Black men experienced all those oppressions too, except that we were supposed to be privileged by gender.
Right.
What others found empirically is that we were actually hyper attacked because of gender. White men didn't love us because we were men. They hated us that much more because we were men. But, that's the split. But what you ended up having via intersectionality is many women come to the table like, well, we're all Black in terms of Black men and women. So I already understand what Black men go through. I'm a little bit more oppressed because I'm a woman, but because I understand the Black thing, there's really nothing that I don't know about what Black men go through. And so when Black men have a different response to situations, much of the time you'll hear a kind of frustration or tension, where some women will go out their way to call Black men cowards, to denigrate Black men who do not respond the same way they do to situations, opportunities, environments, even work environments. And a lot of that is because of a misunderstanding of the way gender and race work. I mean, the understanding they have, especially as they've been trained in gender studies, is that through the Black experience, they already get all of that. Plus, they have this extra area of being Black women. But, the whole Black man thing is really misunderstood, even within the academy. And a lot of brothers can't articulate it. So, there's really just kind of an unspoken distance where some brothers are just getting tired. They're walking away. But, that's the missing piece in the dialogue. And a lot of sisters don't want to hear it because they've grown kind of comfortable with this space of being hyper oppressed via intersectionality. And to give that in and actually have to accept that you don't know everything about the community and that your men are actually targeted in a way that you don't want to accept. The only groups that I've run across really of Black women that get that are women who have intimately close relationships with men that they respect and value, like daughters, fathers, or most particularly mothers of sons. Those tend to be the women that approach me most to say, either understand this, or can you help me understand it because I know something here is different.
It's off.
Yes. And that's where I notice the difference. But when you get around women who don't have any of those kind of connections, it's a very kind of flippant, hey, we're all Black, I get racism, what is he complaining about kind of attitude. And that produces even more distance.